So Elizabeth showed you in the demo how easy it is to really set it up and to start. It's just on your phone. You go to the website, to the web store, whatever, and you are in minutes operational. And then our vision is, okay, everyone in your company basically has this type of digital authority on his phone, and it has its goal. And when during your sleeping, it works towards your bonus to achieve your goal, right? That's the point. What I want to show you now is, of course, eventually when you then start in one value stream and then go to bigger and bigger in your company to more value streams, of course, there comes also questions like how we really do data access rights, how we do, maybe we want to extend the ontology and so on. So there's a layer of enterprise management, if you like, which you not need when you start, but you eventually want to have, when you extend to an entire organization. And that is what we call the Twin OS for operating system. What I'm showing you is not where a normal business user would go. This can be governors, super agent, super admins, he would basically work. They would go in this environment. It on the homepage basically shows you what you are. Elizabeth already used it as an expert for some agent, for some apps, but it's more or less for everything. When there is a request, you can start from here. You have all these connectors, Elizabeth said, so when there are new requests or the connectors you basically are managing. But what I want to show you a little bit more is when the data comes with the connectors in, we call it an asset. And compared to all this agent work, what you normally hear, we are on the analytics side. So we basically, via ETL, load all this data in a Snowflake warehouse. You maybe have not seen it when Elizabeth was talking because it's basically behind the screen. And this data, first goes into this, what we call data assets. So let's go here to Elizabeth's marketing value stream. So let's filter it by it. So we had this Jira and we have this HubSpot there, right? And then you see, for example, in Jira, we maybe have, all the different tables of data in. So it's quite wild. But if you want, you can even design access right on the data level, but normally would not do it, right? So you have all this data from these apps in. You see, same for HubSpot. And then the next layer, basically after the data layer, is to put meaning, on it. It's still organized by the apps because it's the language and the meaning which is app specific, And you, for example, see now here in Jira, there are only now issues, projects. It's basically the business objects, We use terms for the user when Elizabeth showed it, but the terms is basically the term for the business objects. This is the business objects I talked about, and this is basically what you have here. You don't have to do anything. When you connect an app, it goes into our ontology, and here we just have filled exactly this, issues, projects, and obviously when we go to HubSpot, we have much, much more of this type of business objects. But in HubSpot, you see it's called owner, and when we go to Jira, it's called user. So what you also get out of the box is, the master data management, the consolidation. You have all your marketing stacks. They all have different terms, customers, and so on. All this has to be consolidated. All this will be here, And now you can imagine HubSpot has its own language. Jira has its own language, user versus owner. And what's now happened in the next layer, the ontology layer, is that basically the data is mapped, and I will show you that in a moment, is mapped into this ontology. And the ontology is now independent of the app, the language of the business objects, and so on. So when we go to this layer here, then you see now accounts, contracts, deals. So that's basically this digital twin layer. You have here shown the nouns, basically, and not the dynamic part of it, but anyhow. So basically see it like that. Every app, has its own language, and now they are mapped, into this company ontology. Elizabeth showed you, for example, for She used SMBs, how easy it is to extend it for every business user, but there's maybe more structural things you want to change. And then we know all this data quality issues, how we really deal with it, because that's maybe a concern of you. So I want to show you a little thing here, how we deal with it. So I go here to on HubSpot, and we're going to the company, and let's make here the screen a little bit bigger. So let's search for countries. I will make an easy example. So we have 91 countries in it. So basically this is in HubSpot, the different countries. And these are the countries a business user basically puts in. So, and you will see in a moment, he maybe in Germany sometimes writes it wrong, sometimes right, sometimes he says Germany, sometimes Deutschland, and all of this, at the end, you don't want to have that anymore in your ontology. You just maybe want to have Germany, so when you filter, you get the right stuff, right? So what you can do is, I can click here on map. And now we see all the different countries we have in the system. Basically, this first column here is what HubSpot is, class enum. Sorry, we're now deep in the ontology work, so it's not for the business user. So this is basically the ontology, and you see it's all mapped by HelloTwin, because we deliver this out of the gate. So when you have an HubSpot and you connect this, everything what's standard basically in the app is from us automatically mapped. You don't have to do the job. This is why you can easily plug it in. And only what's custom is, you get a quick notification. Hey, is this correct map? Yes. And then, you can run on. So Jason mentioned Palantir. This is not forward deployed engineers. This is not, a big project. It's just running out of the gate. But maybe we want to change something. So if we map, see here, so we maybe you see United States, it's not in our system. That's not a good thing, right? And it's not mapped. So at the moment, the twin would not understand the country of United States. Okay, let's change that. And for that, we have here this little twin code. Yeah, we have to see it as similar to Claude code. Everything in the digital twin can be configured, managed, via this twin code. So it takes a moment because it's a big job. So let's create first, what I want to do is I first have to create an ontology element, United States, and then I have to map it. That's 2 clicks. So let's do that. So, okay, it's running. Let's do it. It maybe takes a minute. Let me show you, for example, in Germany. Yeah, you see here in Germany in HubSpot, some people called the deal with DE. Some wrote, if you are capable to do German, this is wrong written Germany, German in German, Deutschland. And this is correct written, and here we have English. And you see all is now mapped to Germany in this ontology. So we don't have that data problem anymore in the entire system. It's all taken care of. So, and doing this here is working. Let me explain a little bit about Twin Code. So, of course, we are completely inspired by to work how you work with Claude Code. We really believe you can do this all manual, also in the old user interfaces. But in principle, we really want, that you can all do all the changes when you have the power and the rights. You should be able to really do this all just by prompting. And there's a lot of verification you can imagine behind it. So we see here, for example, it says, okay, I want to add United States. This is a big point. I have to say apply, and then let's just that we get it working, map. Yeah, so after that, so let it already do this. So we are totally on this way that we're saying LLMs are fantastic, but they can only propose in our application. They're always, when something has to happen, which is probabilistic, a human has to control this. So you saw this. It says, okay, I propose to you now United States. To add in the ontology, I, as a human, have to apply for it, and you will see in a moment, then my name is on it, So, because, as we said before, when you give a digital authority a mandate to act for you or for your team in the organization, you under no circumstance want that this is wrong, right? Because your name is here at risk. So we take care of that. So now let's have a look here, what it basically did. Okay, I want to click here. So let's see, 1 second. We go back to our United States. So you see, it created United States. It proposes to map to United States. Again, this is what's in HubSpot. This is now what's in our ontology, United States. And, you know, I can now say apply. And then it takes a moment, and then you will see, so now, you know, it moved up for sorting purpose here. Now you see United States. So now I could talk to the twin, and he would understand what United States is. Before it would say, I don't know what United States is. It's not in this digital twin, you know, environment. And via that, you can basically do everything when you want to extend something, when you go in other markets, whatever, you know. But as I said, we deliver out of the box the spine, if you will, you know, as a semantic digital twin for your, you know, B2B SaaS company. That's basically where we are starting. So what else you can do, just very quickly, don't want to go in detail. Of course, you can manage all your users for sure with their rights. You can manage when you have the rights. Okay, let me go here back out of the all value streams. So you can manage your entire, you know, organization. So either you go bottom up, everyone creates a value stream, you know, and then they have owners, and you can manage like that your organization, or you can say, no, I want to take control, you know, and I decide who value streams are there, who owns them, what rights there are. So you can build your complete entire organization. And then, of course, the last part is data access. You know, you can create people who have particular rights. We call them data stewards. And for tech stacks, for example, data steward for the marketing tech stack, one for the maybe HR tech stack, one for the sales tech stack, and so on. You can create whatever type of roles in it. I, for time reason, don't want to show you. And then you can, of course, assign every type of employees to whatever type of roles you have. You know, so you have a full-fledged governed, you know, application if you really want to do it. So in summary, you can start just on your phone, sign up, can work. Everything is basically ready for you. You don't have to concern. The only thing what you need is the credentials of your apps. We don't have them. We never see them. You know, you can connect that. But we also deliver to you the entire operating system if you really want to run your entire company with all access rights and security and so on. Thank you, Elizabeth.